down my hair. Hurry now and don't be late, 'cause we ain't got time to chat. You and me, we're going out to catch the latest sounds. Guaranteed to blow your mind so high you won't come down. Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band. Man, you've never heard a sound like the rubber band. Man, you're bound to lose control when the rubber band starts to jam. Oh, this dude is out of sight.
What's wrong with you, Justin?
A lot.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, you ready to start this thing?
Yeah, okay.
Let's fucking do this.
Yep.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Woodscast, and I am Justin Woods. With me, per the usual, is my oddly gifted karaoke brother, Shay Woods,
Yo.
dropping panties all down the east.
All
eastern
down the East
seaboard.
Coast. Yeah, up and down.
Coast. Fucking pulling wagon wheel out of fucking nowhere. So, you guys listen to this, we do it. You'll notice we haven't done this in a couple weeks because we've been traveling. We went on a family vacation. And then Shay's been settling into a new job.
Having to be up before 1 o'clock in the afternoon every day is brutal.
That's
I don't know
right.
how people do it.
Well, they don't.
Yeah.
I love having a job where I can be like, yeah, I'm going to go in at 1 today.
That's the best.
Yeah.
That is not this job, but
no,
it is a
okay.
job.
Yeah, Shay was settling in a new job. Quite honestly, we had seen enough of each other, so we took took a couple weeks off. We might have to take another couple weeks off because I'll be traveling the next couple weekends. But we'll see. Since you guys don't pay us to do this, you can go to hell. We will do them when we want to.
Right to hell.
Yeah, right to hell. You may jam that right up your ass. See, Shay's token and I'm drinking beer, so that's why there's a lot of quiet sounds. All right, so we are recording this on Sunday, August 4th, year of our Lord 2019. The weekly numbers. I have had 2 beers. I got me a 6-pack of Purple Haze. Haven't had that in a while. It's pretty good.
I've got a various. I'm doing that thing where I didn't buy beer, but I've got like a various assortments of like 1 or 2s left from 6-packs in my fridge.
Oh yeah.
So right now it's an amber ale. We'll see what's next.
Yeah, so Shay's gonna dig in his cooler, and it's gonna sound like he's throwing aluminum cans into a.
No, I'm coming up on the road. I got a mini fridge in here, buddy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
All right. We are in the 926th day of the Trump administration. That's why Shay and I drink. One of the reasons. It's delicious and it makes us happy. Shay, it's been 418 days since Donald Trump has solved the North Korea problem. If you've been paying attention to the news, you'll notice they've been popping missiles off.
Yeah, I haven't really followed that too closely, but my understanding was they've been popping missiles off, and Donald Trump's like, they're all right. It's
yeah.
It's cool.
He at first released a tweet that said that Kim Jong-un was too smart to go back on the deal they had, and we don't have a deal.
Yeah, there was none.
Yeah, he said you were awesome. You said he was awesome, and then we went our merry ways.
And then we made a coin. It was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, we made a coin. It went fine. Just the other day, I think he said, "Oh, it's totally okay because those were short-range ballistic missiles, and all we talked about were nukes." And he just loves to say the word nukes, so he said it 3 more times in that sentence, and everybody's like, "Are you okay, sir?"
Yeah.
There have been we got a bunch of Q drops, 3,570 Q drops right now. They're having a fucking heyday with this Epstein trial.
Man, I just haven't dipped my toes into those waters for a while for about mental health reasons mainly.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to know what their reaction is, because I understand that there are pictures and it's established the Clintons know Jeffrey Epstein, but so does Donald Trump, but they don't have a problem with it, I'm assuming.
No. Actually, and you'll love this shit. There is a thread of QAnon that believes that Donald Trump befriended Jeffrey Epstein. And if you guys want to do a deep dive in Jeffrey Epstein, there's a bunch of podcasts that go out about it. There's new one now called TrueAnon. So they're basically just going to go into the actual real things that QAnon people are worried about. Hey, yeah, you're worried about pedophiles, and there is a pedophile problem. It's just not Hillary Clinton eating babies like you guys are.
Yeah.
Kids. And so Jeffrey Epstein's this billionaire, and nobody can really figure out why he's a billionaire because people just gave him money. He wasn't necessarily good at anything. And so they've closed. The QAnon people have closed in on this thread of logic. I use that with air quotes, heavy air quotes.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump years ago befriended Jeffrey Epstein so that when he was the president, he could trigger this fucking awakening.
Oh,
Right.
okay,
So
that's
for-
fantastic.
So for decades, Donald Trump has been cozying up to the pedophile, so that when he won the presidential election, like I guess he planned to back in the '80s, he could flip this switch. That ignores the fact that like during our entire lifetime, Shay, whenever Donald Trump wanted a camera on him, they would put a camera on him. So like.
Mm-hmm.
There's been decades he could be just like, hey guys, that guy's a crazy pedophile, right? Should go interview him, and then it would have been broken. The story would have been broken, but whatever. But those people also believe that some guy named Richard Fusca is the JFK Jr. He's just been living, a low-key existence until Donald Trump came around to do the Great Awakening.
Oh, yeah, it's all very well planned out. I mean, I knew that. That's QAnon's got his shit on lockdown.
Yeah, that's solid. All right, and it's been 2,945 days since fucking George R.R. Martin ever did anything that was worth shit. So, publish a new book, you big fat bastard.
I think I mentioned it before. I keep telling those Brandon Sanderson books. He crafts those out every year like clockwork. The Stormlight Chronicles are fucking badass.
I can pick those up.
Yeah.
I think I've had that written down like 2 or 3 places. Like, go get this book. All right, so polls aren't fucking going anywhere. 45. I mean, Gallup has Donald Trump at 45. 538 has him at 42.4. Real Clear Politics 43.3. Like, he's underwater between 7 and 12% and everything. The state polls, which are gonna become a lot more, I guess, prevalent things we gotta watch. The six states that we talk about, Shay, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, and Florida, and Ohio, the ones that he flipped from Barack Obama. Florida -3, Ohio -7, Iowa -12, Pennsylvania -9, Michigan -16, Wisconsin -14. So unless those numbers change, Donald Trump's fucked.
Yeah.
So those are the numbers for the week. Okay, first thing we gotta talk about it, Shay. We're going to storm Area 51, and we're going to see them aliens.
That's supposed to be in...
September 20th.
September 20th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can get into that. Hopefully that works out, and it's just as much fun as I think it's going to be. Yeah. I mean, obviously not. It's going to be a bunch of awkward fucking Spurg lords standing around staring at cameras, if anyone does anything at all.
Right. So, the funny thing... Okay, believe it or not, Alex Jones has weighed in on this.
No, I'm shocked.
Yeah, Alex Jones is pretty sure. Wait a minute, where did this go? It's not in my events anymore. What happened?
What did you do, Justin? You've ruined the podcast. This is really our producer's fault. We have to fire that guy.
We got to pay him first, but
and get one.
Where did it go? I was just trying to look up how many people were signed. Last time I looked, it was 1.9 million people.
Oh yeah, it's some ass. I can't remember what it was. I think it was. I was like sitting in traffic or fucking somewhere and had like 15 minutes to dick off on the internet. So I was just skimming through comments on Reddit, and this one guy had written a hysterical like, "Oh yeah, well what if this happens?" And it's like everyone shows up. Storm's there, finds out that there's aliens by exposing the secrets of the government, and then the whole world is united knowing that we're not alone, and it ushered into Star Trek level utopia, all because these guys stormed Area 51, and I was like, yes, that's what's gonna happen.
That's okay. We'll put that down as best case scenario.
Best case scenario, yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, best case scenario.
This is how Star Trek happens.
Right. So I just looked it up, and the page is deleted. So.
Okay.
No. So let's just recap. So a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago or so, some guy, what the hell's his name? Got it right here. Oh yeah, Matty Roberts put up this Facebook post, group event, whatever, and everybody's gonna meet at Area 51 on September 20th, and we're gonna storm Area 51. Now, since all you've got to fucking do is say I'm interested and or I'm going, the number of people going to storm Area 51 like skyrocketed to 1 million people in just a couple days. this is all fun and games because everybody who's ever been on the fucking internet knows how these things go.
Yeah.
They
That's
interviewed
the Buddy McBoat face all over again.
Yeah. This guy looks exactly like you would expect him to, Shay. Just go ahead and Google Matty Roberts for me over there, and give you a little idea who we're talking about. Like, they interviewed him, a local TV station interviewed him, and he was dressed entirely in Nutaro shit.
Oh, yeah, this guy. Okay. Yeah, I know, everyone knows this guy.
Yeah, everybody knows this guy. So anyway, so this is a fun little thing, and it inspired some memes, and, you know, of course, you know, everybody's talking about everybody's going to be fucking aliens, and we're, you know, it'll be fun. But it's actually garnered a response from the U.S. military. The U.S. Army actually came down and said, actually had to make a response and said, like, listen, the United States government is ready to defend the United States and its assets. And everybody's like, yeah, what the fuck ever, you can't shoot all of us. And
yeah, we can. Yeah.
And then it went from that to a couple people that were, you know, and you know, you got to take all this with a grain of salt, right? Because people are just throwing shit up on the internet. Mm-hmm. But you got people taking pictures from meetings. You know, everybody's in fatigue, so I guess it would be pretty hard to stage that. But they take a picture of a bunch of people in a meeting hall in fatigue, and it's like, great, Area 51 meeting, thanks, assholes. It's like, apparently several places, maybe at Area 51, have to actually had to sit down and have a meeting, like, all right, if these fucksticks show up, what are we gonna do? And the guy, he actually is, like, before they deleted it, and that was Alex Jones's problem. Alex Jones, like, you can't be a Christian on Facebook, you can't show the American flag on Facebook, none of which is true. But this dumbass can round up, you know, 2 million people to go storm Area 51, and he says that this is the first in Facebook's trial runs to see if they can mobilize an army to start a civil war.
Yes. Yes, that is what is happening, yes.
That tracks, Alex.
Yeah, that tracks.
So anyway, it was like a funny thing. It kind of blew up. Everybody's making memes about it. It's kind of fun. I honestly think there's literally 3 things that are going to happen. I mean, because, yeah, let's say 2 million people sign up to go. Like, a couple hundred people might actually fucking show up. You never know. Like, people from surrounding towns.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, 1, they have a huge party. Everybody fucks. And the surrounding states see a little blip in birth rates in, like, 2020.
Yeah.
2, they have a huge party. A handful of dick dudes actually climb the fence or whatever, get arrested, and, you know, there's no deaths or injuries. They just, like, arrest, like, a half dozen people and say, like, quit it. And 3, the army says, fuck it, and they're annoyed by the whole thing, and they strafe the entire crowd with A-10 Warthogs, and it's like King's Landing up in that bitch.
I was just saying, it's like when they're like, "Wow, you can't shoot all of it." It's like, well, actually, yeah. Man, those things are so scary. I was watching one Arma 3 has a real fun version of the Warthog. You can fly around in it. It's just because it's a sim game, it's really realistic. And I went down a rabbit hole the other day just reading about how those things work and how powerful they are, and that is some horrifying shit.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a reason why I want to say the Pentagon has tried several times to propose a replacement or to mothball the A-10 Warthog, and the Air Force and Army are like, fuck no, this is awesome.
It works.
Because, yeah, it works perfectly. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's close infantry ground support. If I remember correctly, they had the gun, the Gatling gun that's prominent out of the nose of the plane and runs most of the length of the plane. Like, they built that and then designed a plane to carry it into the sky.
Yeah, it's more of a gun with a plane around it than a plane with a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you ever want to be like, yeah, you can Google the ones that have landed, and they're basically just Swiss cheese. They still fly back and they land, and put more bullets in me. I'll go shoot some more dumbasses.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, so that's fun. Hope everybody has fun with the alien gangbang. Wear a condom. You don't know what those guys have.
Excellent advice.
Yeah, you could get space herpes, and I can't imagine space herpes are any good.
The sores are little singularities all over your body.
Yeah, little eyeballs start popping up all over your dick.
Beep 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 beep.
Yeah, that's a Stephen King reference there for anybody not paying attention.
Yep.
All right. We haven't done one in a while. We haven't done a podcast in a while, so we got some shit to cover. Mueller testified before Congress. Check that out.
I mean, I read the highlights from it.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the damn thing. It's like it was yes, no, yes, no, no, yes.
The funny thing is that, you know, so Mueller testified. The Democrats really wanted it to be their, you know, watershed moment for impeachment, but he was very clear that he was not going to say anything that wasn't in the report. So basically, they wanted him to read the report, so they had a soundbite of like, "Yes, Donald Trump obstructed justice these 10 times," and they're like, "Would you impeach him?" And he's like, "I'm not going to answer that." But he did say that Donald Trump could be charged with obstruction after he was the president, which was pretty big tell.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, and yeah, I wonder that. Yeah, now that's fucking crazy that he was.
Well,
it's not gonna make much of a difference, but
no, the I guess the thing that everybody was wanting to look into or worry about or check was that how that interaction affected the polling for impeachment and the number of people in the House.
Yes.
The House Democrats that were, and so there wasn't a big swing either way. So there wasn't a big swing either way on people who either were for impeachment or against it after Mueller's testimony. And it was like I don't know, a lot of people, I don't know, I guess a lot of people wanted way too much out of it because it already said in the report that Donald Trump has obstructed justice at least 10 times.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna impeach him, fucking impeach him. It's not a big deal. But as of now, well, it's kind of funny. Like, after he did it, of course, Sean Hannity took a victory lap and said, like, "I told you guys there's nothing there, no collusion, no obstruction," and then proceeded to try to destroy Mueller for the report that apparently exonerated Trump.
Yeah, that's the fun thing. Yeah.
Like, I don't see the point here.
Yeah. Well, nothing he does has a point. So.
Yeah. But I guess as of a couple days ago, the majority of House Democrats are now in favor of impeachment.
I still don't. I mean, whatever. I mean, if you want to do an impeachment inquiry and try to dig up a bunch of stuff, I just still don't really. It's all posturing at this point because again, it's not going to get anywhere, and it's. I don't know. I just feel like Democrats should be more worried about an election than anything else.
Well, what they really should do is put some money into getting editorial control of fucking Fox and Friends, and we'd be.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Just buy it.
If you can get Steve Doocy to say that solar power is the bee's knees, we'll have it in like 2 weeks.
Warren Buffett could just buy Fox News and just turn it into whatever he wants.
I wondered about that. Okay, going back a little bit farther, I want to talk about something that really annoys me, and we have a thread. Shay, I don't know if you've had the TV on at all today, but we have 2 new awesome mass shootings.
Oh yeah, I mean I know about that. I make a point. I don't watch cable news, but I've got that shit comes across my news feed for sure. So
if we back up, I think we can draw a direct line between some shit that happened a couple weeks ago, what Donald Trump likes to say, and like what happened yesterday, or at least the motivations behind one of the shooters yesterday. So if we go back to while we were
both of them in Texas, or was it 2 different places?
One was in El Paso, Texas. One was in Dayton, Ohio.
Dayton, Ohio. That's right. I didn't think it was. That's right.
The weird thing is that they happen, hours apart. Like, everybody says 2 mass shootings in 24 hours. It wasn't even that. It was like fucking 10 hours or something like that. But if we go back in time a little bit, while we were at the beach, Donald Trump held the Presidential Social Media Summit. Did you follow any of this shit?
I remember it being like none of the people, like no one who actually has any weight in that area was invited. Like it was all the like nut jobs on the internet, but like Google and fucking Amazon and those people didn't, and Facebook were not there,
Exactly. So it was a White House. So this was billed as the Presidential Social Media Summit, where Donald Trump invited all the people that are quote unquote banned, shadow banned, and clusterfucked on the internet, whatever you want to call it. So they, like you just said, all the people who are being censored because they're conservative by the big 3, but he did not invite the big 3, Twitter, Google, and Facebook. Yeah. They were not invited.
Alex Jones wasn't invited, right?
Oh, fuck no.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
There were several people that they knew they couldn't invite because, Milo Yiannopoulos, or whatever the fuck his name is. He basically got booted out of the Polite Society because some video came up of him years ago saying, like, listen, it's okay to have sex with young boys. Like, that's how they're going to learn to have sex with dudes. And everybody's like, what?
No, it's not right.
Yeah. And, like, he did it on this, like, weird live stream where there were, like, 8 other guys. Those kind of YouTube channels where it's got, like, this scrolling thing at the bottom of all the people that are on the line. Yeah. And so like Milo's in it. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I would have never have been so good at sucking dick if it wasn't for Father so and so. And like, you've got to teach these kids when they're young. And like, all of these fucking neckabeards were like, that sounds a lot like pedophilia, dude. He's like, no, it's totally cool. So he kind of like, you can't have him at the White House. You just can't.
No.
Can't have a guy who admitted maybe to sort of having some pedophilia at the White House. Of course, you can't let Alex Jones go. He's a twat. So a couple of these people that were like quote unquote the most banned people, they weren't invited because they're so toxic. But like you got people like Bill Mitchell, who's a huge QAnon dipshit. You've got that singer who always wears the MAGA dress, Brent Bozell. He does the Media Research Center, which exposes bias. He works with Veritas a lot.
Yeah.
You got this guy Ali Alexander, who's this who's supposed to be this conservative like mover and shaker, but he's one of Alex Jones's toadies. So like Infowars was like he hosts on Infowars all the time. So like Infowars was represented there, but like Alex wasn't there. So Ali Alexander, he changed his name from Ali Akbar because he has 2 felonies for credit card fraud and theft.
That's awesome.
Yes, so that guy is he's cool. We've got, of course, James O'Keefe from Project Veritas. He's a convicted felon for trying to plant illegal wiretaps and falsifying evidence. You got the Heritage Foundation. They're the people that come up with a list of judges Trump's going to pick. You got Charlie Kirk's huge face and huge head and small face. That's Turning Point USA. Foster Freeze gives them millions of dollars to be a grassroots. This is one of the things that caught my eye. Carpe Donktum. Have you heard about this dipshit?
It's a guy on Twitter, right?
Right. Well, yeah, he's Carpe Donk. He goes by Carpe Donktum. He considers himself a meme smith. His real name is Kevin Logan. And whenever
He makes a lot of those like CNN memes that are like wrestling memes and shit, right?
So, yeah. Yeah, like these people think they're the height of comedy, and they're just so genius. And all they do is stick Donald Trump's head on a picture of, Chuck Norris from the '80s, and call it like fucking hilarious. And but yeah, Carpe Donktum. Like when somebody like published his real name, he's like, "Oh, okay, so I'm just gonna get doxxed and murdered." Then they're like, "Dude, you use your real name on the other Facebook page you use.
Yeah,
it's not that hard." And so like and this is the thing. Like these people, like some person on Twitter told me very specifically that liberals can't meme, because she put up some meme about how the president had made the world great in like 7 days, and I was like, half of that shit's personal opinion, the other half of it's completely wrong. She's like, well, just because you can't meme. I was like, listen,
those are the same women who will like decide they don't like vaccinations, and when you ask them where they get their information, they say Google University. And you just want to fucking slap somebody.
Oh, it's so weird. Like
it's that same kind of shit, yeah.
All right, like this group of people who believe that memes are the highest form of political discourse are just fucking pathetic.
I mean, that was the whole thing during the election too. That like 4chan and 8chan saying they memed him into office.
Exactly. And so one of the people that was not invited, speaking of memes, is Ben Garrison. Are you familiar with this guy?
I know the name. I don't know. You're going to say it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, he's the one that does all the political cartoons where he draws Donald Trump as like this very burly, fit man.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So the problem with those are of course, Donald Trump is just a big sack of lard, but they are he for every like super Trump one he does, he'll do 2 really anti-Semitic cartoons.
Yep.
So he was invited to the summit originally, and then uninvited because people are like, "Hey, this guy's not a fan of the Jews."
Yeah, he's not that great. Yeah, no. I do. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like these people, like these meme smiths and these meme artists, and whatever, they see that as like like I said, the pinnacle of political discourse, because they're like, "Haha, I gotcha," and you're like, half of the shit on that, the words on your little picture there are wrong. Haha, gotcha. Like, okay, I don't think you heard me. Haha, own the libs. Like, no, okay, we're done here. Fucking morons. So, Shay, you've talked about this before. All these people are kicked off social media because their First Amendment rights are violated, or could it be another reason?
No, it's probably because they violated the terms of service they agreed to on a private platform.
Oh, congratulations, sir. You win today's prize.
Yay, what'd I win?
I don't know. I'll mail you a beer.
That doesn't sound right, but all right.
Yeah. when
Here's
a
a
tall
warm,
boy-
shaken Bud Light from Chicago.
when,
Fantastic.
when a warm PBR tall boy shows up at your house, you're gonna feel like a winner. All right.
Yes.
So all these people were kicked off of the social media for being fucking racist and white nationalist bullshit. A lot of these people like to talk over and over again about how Muslims are bad and going to ruin our country. Of course, there's the lovely trope of we've got Muslim no-go zones all over America. Yeah. Not a fucking bit of that's true. Sean Hannity will still say that on national radio. So this is why these asshats get kicked off. Because they're racist, they're anti-Semitic, they're anti-Muslim, and about half the time they're like, well, you know what you should do? You should just murder all the the Muslims or something like that. They propose out and out violence, and that's why they get booted. So fast forward to the next week. I don't know if you've been following this, Shay, but Trump had quite a week there where he was saying some racist shit on Twitter.
Just being a racist grandpa on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he followed up this presidential media summit where everybody was basically removed from social media for being racist asshats, and he followed that up by being a racist asshat. And we of course know, like, this has been in the news for a while. He attacked the quote unquote squad, told them to go back to their homes where they came from. The full quote is, go back to your home where you came from, and then come back, or fix that, and then come back here and tell me you had to fix my country. That kind of bullshit. He said that to Representative Ocasio-Cortez, Representative Ilhan Omar, Representative Tashida Tlaib, I always mess that up, and Representative Presley. All four of those women, believe it or not, are United States citizens. You're not allowed to be a congressman or a congresswoman without being a citizen of the United States. It's kind of the game we play.
And three of them were born here, right?
Yes,
everyone but Omar.
Yeah, Ilhan Ocasio-Cortez, Tlaib, Presley were all born here. Ilhan Omar was a Shiite, I lost it. Somalian refugee. She came here as a refugee. Fun fact, she's had her citizenship longer than Melania Trump.
Yeah, I remember reading that.
Yeah, so that's fun. So basically, Donald Trump said a bunch of racist shit, and then everybody said, "Well, it's not racist. He just doesn't like them." It's like, well, then why don't you tell them to go back to their home country?
Yeah.
Why are you telling four women of color to go back to your home country?
Yeah. No, that's the. Again, that's I know some people are arguing that it's like a broader political strategy, but I really just think it's just him firing off shit online. Because that's a little too on the nose for me to think it's intentional. I think that was him like taking a dump and getting pissed off about something and firing some shit off, and then once it was out there, it was out there. So,
well, I think I 1,000% agree with you, because that's how he runs this entire presidency.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna nominate this guy for national security director. A week later, never mind, he's never done this before. Yeah,
he doesn't even know where the fucking building is.
Yeah.
That was a fucking whiplash right there. God. One of the more funny things for that week, since we didn't have a podcast around to cover it, people, myself included, were calling the president of the United States racist, and then a lot of people says, "Hey, you just can't call him racist." And my first was like, "Well, birtherism's pretty fucking racist." He did that in 2012. Like, you guys knew that this. So we get into this weird place where, like, people are like, "Hey, that's racist," and then other people are like, "Hey, you can't call the president racist," and then like, "Yeah, surely fucking can," and they're like, "Well," and then so the Republicans are in this weird place where they have to defend Donald Trump about being called racist, but then like not really thinking the shit he said was racist, so their defense isn't very good.
I honestly don't even think it's that. I think they're just like, well, shit, we have to buckle down on this. Like, they just know they know he's racist and it's not good. But it's one of those things where they go, really, this shit again? All right, and they've just all agreed to grin and bear it.
Oh yeah, I think I agree too. My favorite one.
Even if they don't think it's racist, I guarantee you they all understand why the rest of the country thinks it's racist. And it's one of those kind of like, they see the tweet go out, and then it's just like fucking facepalm, like, oh god damn it, all right, and then it's like, fuck it, just bold face pretend like it's not a problem, and we'll just bulldoze through this until he does something else and everyone forgets about it.
That is exactly what they're doing. I think you're right. But in this case, I thought they actually took it up to 11,
Yeah.
And this one of my favorites was, I saw this in two places. a guy named Roger Kimball, one of my fraternity brothers, shared an article that it was the white supremacy phantom. And basically the article was like, hey, Donald Trump's awesome. Yeah, he might be a little racist, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
And in that article, he said that, hey, listen, everybody's a person of color. My particular color is a nice shade of pink. So everybody's a person of color. Stop saying that Donald Trump is only mean to women of color. And I was like, holy fucking shit. I don't know if you have a history book handy, Shay, but I looked through a couple of them, and I don't remember any place where somebody was lynched because they were a nice shade of pink.
Yeah.
And talked to a woman who was not a nice shade of pink.
No, that's just dumb. That's just dumb.
So okay, so you got some jackass on the Spectator wrote an article. Then Representative Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania said the exact same fucking thing to cameras.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
He said I'm
Swish.
white. He said I'm
Swish.
white. White's a color, so I'm a person of color. And I'm like, yes, technically you are correct. Since we have no translucent humans, white is a color, or technically the mix of all the colors.
Oh man, you beat me to it. That is
Yeah.
technically correct, and it is the best kind of correct. Continue.
Exactly. So they were put in this really fucking weird place, and then Donald Trump had a, I think he had a one of his bullshit rallies where we pay a lot of money for everybody to chant with him that he's awesome. I want to say it was in South Carolina, but I believe I'm wrong. I believe that was in North Carolina. I think I have a typo here. I'll check it while I'm looking this up. But anyway, during that, North Carolina. Okay, yeah, North Carolina. So during that rally in North Carolina that Trump loves to do, right? Because everybody cheers his name, and every time he says something, mush brained, they go yeah.
Yeah.
They started a chant of. He talked about Ilhar Omar. He brought up Representative Ilhar Omar and said, she doesn't love America like we do, some bullshit. And the crowd chanted, "Send her back."
Yeah, and he's like, haha.
Yes. The next day, he said, no. I spoke very quickly, and I kept my speech going, so shut them up. And actually, no, watch the tape. He takes a step back away from the podium. He sits there and enjoys it for 13 full fucking seconds.
Yeah.
And so, bullshit. The day after that, after he said, I spoke very quickly and stopped the chant, the day after that, he told everybody, he defended them to, one of my favorite things, and this is just a short aside, but one of my favorite things is when Donald Trump leaves the White House and talks to the press on his way to Air Force One, or Marine One, I'm sorry, and he talks to the press, because he just says the most bullshit, blue ribbon ding-dong dipshit stuff, just off the cuff. That's great. And during one of those interactions, he defended the people at the North Carolina rally and said they were patriots. And I would like to say that these people are swine.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Human garbage.
We do a lot of hemming and hawing nowadays. Like, you've heard the phrase that, like, all Trump supporters are racist. That's clearly not true, Shay, right?
No.
I mean, clearly you can find a Trump supporter that's not racist. You can probably find a couple fucking Democrats that are racist. A phrase that I think is closer is that, not all Trump supporters are racist, but pretty sure all racists are Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of inclusion is probably a little bit better. If you're listening to this and you're a Trump supporter, actually, what the fuck are you doing listening to this podcast? We are not your audience. You are not our audience.
No.
But, you should not have to feel inclined to defend Trump about his racism, period, one way or the other. I don't want to make too many blanket statements about the people that support Donald Trump, except I will make one very definitive statement. The people at that rally who chanted "Send her home" are fucking swine.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Fuck them. Fuck them left, fuck them right. Fuck them straight back to their hovels in North Carolina, wherever they came from. I don't give a shit. That was some of the most outright blatant bigotry I've seen on national fucking TV in years.
I mean, that's but then that's also, I think it's also important to remember that the people that are going to go to his rallies are like, those are the frantic, crazy ones too.
Oh yeah. Yes,
the people at those rallies are the craziest ones, of his base, because those are the ones that like sit out there for fucking 6 hours in the rain to listen to him speak.
Yeah, and those are those compilations are some of my best compilations where they like send the Daily Turk, or I'm sorry, the Young Turks or the Daily Show will send somebody out there just to talk to the people that are waiting in line, and like, oh man, it was one in Florida where they were just getting douched in rain. Like the people that came out to see him were there 5 hours beforehand. And they were just getting swamped. So you got all these people to stand there. It's like, of course, it's like 96 degrees, 113% humidity. And they're just getting rained on sideways. And they just not having a good time. And then you got some little punk with a microphone going, so, what do you think about Donald Trump's tax policy? And they're like, fuck off.
Yeah. Did you get a tax break? Are you a millionaire? No? Oh, look at that.
You look pretty soggy.
You look pretty wet. That's fine,
Yeah.
Wish you could make it dry again, huh?
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is, like, I know you can come up, like, you can go out there and find a bunch of Obama supporters and make him say stupid shit. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Kimmel does it fucking every week. But, like, the fact that you can go to every Trump rally and make a reel like that is really fucking fun.
Yeah, I love it, too, when, there'll be, every now and then you'll see interviews with different shows like that. And, because the thing that, the way that they talk to a lot of people and then they only need a handful of responses to use.
Yep.
So, and there's the ones where they'll start, the people will start to talk and then it clicks what's going on. They're like, yeah, no, I'm not in on this. I'm done. Like, that's not, Because I feel like if you didn't have your head up your ass when those guys are going up and down that line, you would be like, okay.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, like, and then because there's always people like, nope, not talking to you,
Or you see, much like our buddies at Chapa Trap House, you see them, like, they saw the reporter, quote-unquote reporter. Let's just use that word, reporter. Big capital letters. Because I'm sure these people don't give a shit whether they're from the Young Turks or from the Majority Report or from fucking the Daily Show or CNN or,
Yeah.
If it's not Fox News or InfoWars, they don't give a shit. Like, it's fake news to them. Doesn't fucking matter. Well, there's a new One American News. Have you heard about these guys?
No.
Yeah, it's quickly becoming Donald Trump's alternate to Fox News, because when Fox News does a poll and it shows he's losing by like fucking 14 to Joe Biden, he's like, well, fuck Fox News, I'm gonna go watch One American News, and basically all they do is play like the Star Spangled Banner behind a picture of Donald Trump, just like punching Nazis or something. Like, it's just really weird. It's complete fucking propaganda. But, like, these people see the reporter come up and they're, oh, fuck fake news, I'm going to give them peace of my mind. And I can see them, like, waiting to step up and deliver what they think is that devastating blow that's going to make CNN shut down. I liken it a lot to, you don't listen to a lot of talk radio, do you, Shay?
I do every day. What are you talking about?
Conservative talk radio.
Oh, God, no.
Okay. If you watch, listen to me, I'm dumb. I've only had like 4 beers. If you listen to some Sean Hannity or some Rush Limbaugh, because they have a large fan base, and it could take people months to get in, right? To get in a call with either of their two idols.
Yeah.
And if you listen to it long enough, you'll get the guy who has been on hold for about 40 fucking minutes and thinks he has the best zinger in the world, and he like gets on, he's like, hey, this is Rush Limbaugh Show. What do you want to talk about, Dave? Like, oh, I don't know, but like, maybe if Hillary Clinton was such a great person, we would have fucking had, Hillary Clinton care. Oh, like whatever joke is just fucking dies. And like, you could tell they've been holding on to this zinger for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And the host's like, all right, next caller.
Click. Yep. All right, good for you, buddy.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck is that about? So I could totally see, excuse me. I could totally see them waiting for it, but. All right, so that shit, that happened, and then we go to, I think we can draw, okay, and then it brings us back to this shooting, sir, because I think we can draw a pretty consistent line between Donald Trump's rhetoric about sending people back home, illegal immigrants are infestations, there's an invasion, all of that shit, you can watch that on CNN, to what we got, what happened yesterday, which is a white nationalist. He put some manifesto. So we had 2 attacks in 24 hours. You got 20 dead in El Paso, 26 injured, 9 dead in Dayton, 26 injured. Less than hours apart. The guy in El Paso, we know a lot about the guy from El Paso, Texas. We don't know a lot about the guy from Dayton, Ohio yet. I think they've released his name. But yeah, the guy from El Paso, Texas was a straight up white nationalist.
Yeah.
Targeted that Walmart because it was in a immigrant part of town. He was from the Dallas area. He drove to El Paso, which is 9 hours away. Posted his little manifesto. I haven't looked through it. I don't think I will. Fuck it. Fuck that guy. Basically was targeting Hispanics. Talked about how there's an invasion of immigrants, all that shit that Donald Trump has said over and over again. Mick Mulvaney, President Trump's chief of staff, he was out first thing this morning saying, and this is a direct quote, "No politician is to blame for these mass shootings."
Oh.
About an hour and a half later, he went on the Meet the Press and complained that the Democrats had brought politics into this too soon. So if you weren't paying attention to the news, Mick Mulvaney, you can go fuck yourself. And then you'll love this, Shay. As of 3 or 4 hours ago, Republican leadership is blaming this on video games.
I did see that. That shit, that cracks me up. Yeah, okay. That is like such a standard old dude response, and it's one that's been debunked over and over again. They might as well be blaming rap music like they did in the 90s. Like, seriously, it's always something. That shit cracks me up.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, right after this, I had a couple people on Facebook send me, or one guy send me an article. I'm not going to tell who here, but somebody sent me an article, and it was an article written by some guy. I don't know the guy. I don't know his research, but it was an article saying that there is a direct link between video games and increased violence. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. But, like, here's another study by Oxford done, a couple months ago that says there is no connection. Like, we can pull studies out of our ass all day. But I'm here to tell you right now, like, before we get on this podcast today, I played Destiny for about 2.5 hours. I killed a fuckload of aliens.
Yeah.
It did not dehumanize me to alien value.
Yeah.
I'm also not itching to get up into space and kill me some more aliens. This connection is horseshit.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things that just I honestly do feel it's one of those things where it gets thrown out because they're like, oh, well, we got to say something. And I'm like 70, so video games are bad. Comic books are bad.
Well, this is going to play perfectly to the boomer audience of Fox News.
Oh, yeah, I love that. But, yeah. But I think that's also one of those things that, like, people now, usually the smart ones go, okay, sure, bud. Sure, bud.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is the point that you would look to is like, okay, so we have video games, but so does the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So does Europe.
So does all of
Australia.
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not popping off like we are. Huh. Must be something different about America than all these other countries. Yeah, like it doesn't stack up. It doesn't stack up like that. And you're exactly right. The video games ruined your grandkid thing is gonna play perfectly on Fox News to their butter zone demographic of 65 and older.
Yeah.
So that's funny, but you're right because that's the story they want to go to because they will not. I've watched a lot of news today or listened to it as I walked around the lab. They will not mention anything about the El Paso shooters' white nationalist ties.
No.
Where, and let me be very clear, and I think you would agree with this. Like, I don't think Donald Trump should be charged for fucking murder because these people listened to the things he said.
Well,
and
duh.
Right, that's just ridiculous. But we have to. I think you have to admit that, like, when Donald Trump spends a year saying we're being invaded, these people are infesting us, and then some guy goes off and kills a bunch of people saying, hey, listen, we're being invaded, those people are infesting us. Like, there's a fucking connection there.
Well, then you've got like I can't. It's not really fun because it's not one of those like real dramatic things because you can't really hear it. But there's that clip that's floating around of a rally a few months ago where someone shouts shoot him about doing the this is how you should deal with immigrants, and Donald Trump just kind of jokes about it. He's like, yeah, well, only the Panhandle can you say that? Oh yeah,
right. Florida man
stays classy.
Yeah. I'm just really surprised watching the news, like how, like, well, I mean, like, just like I said, they're going to use this video game narrative because they're not going to talk about the white nationalist connection to these guys. And that's why like, I feel like that's why we've talked in this arc that I've created for you here, because if you go from this to Donald Trump's treatment of his words about immigrants and even immigrants that are serving in the goddamn Congress, And then you go back up even further to the people that are quote unquote being censored on Facebook because of their, their quote unquote conservative values. No. It's why I listen to Alex Jones. Alex Jones has done nothing but rant. These people are invading and infesting our country.
Yeah.
These people do nothing but rant like that. So when these people hear this shit and then hear it validated by the sitting POTUS, it's a bad fucking deal. So they're not going to talk about that. And they sure as fuck aren't going to talk about gun control or any kind of legislation. So why don't we blame it all on Call of Duty Black Ops? Or COD Blops, as my friend likes to call it.
Anyone who calls it COD Blops in conversation should immediately be slapped.
Yeah. Well, he was like, if we're going to call it Call of Duty COD, I was like, nobody calls that.
Yeah, so I've heard COD, but COD is fine, guys. Call of Duty's fine. COD is fine. Yeah. That's good. I haven't played those games in years. That was one of those ones. It's kind of like Halo, where I played them every year for 4 or 5 years, or however, whenever the releases were, and got burned out on it. And I haven't checked those out in a while. But I'm told they're still fun.
I pick them up later, like the Call of Duty, and like I guess the last one was Infinite Warfare or something like that. Like I got it for like $20 off eBay, and you boot it up, you load it, and you're like, oh, this is cool, and you play it for a couple days, you're like, none anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah,
they don't hold up.
Well, because when you're not 16 and you don't have like fucking all day to just fucking grind on the multiplayer, like back in the day, you had to reach a certain level to get the AK-47 or whatever the fuck you wanted. Now you just like fucking throw some Bitcoin their way and
they give it to you.
Yeah. All right.
And that's why that shooter in Texas shot people up, because he was angry about
loot crates. Video
games did it.
Yep. One last thing before we get off of this super fun topic. I did notice that this was kind of ironic that this happened just days after Donald Trump wanted to classify Antifa as a terrorist organization.
Yep.
They don't want to talk about anything like the FBI, the CIA. I think the FBI has already said that the largest growing threat is domestic terrorism, very specifically fueled by white nationalist groups, these militia groups. And he's like, well, we should fucking do something about Antifa.
Yeah.
And it's worth saying to date, Antifa has never killed anybody. QAnon's killed some people. White nationalists killed a bunch of people. Antifa, just out there with their little face masks on, and they've beaten up a lot of people they shouldn't have.
Yep.
And they should be charged for that. But to date, they have not killed anybody. You know who's probably killed somebody? Alex Jones.
Probably, yeah.
All right.
Indirectly.
Do you ever watch? Do you listen to Knowledge Fight?
I know what it is. I don't really care enough to.
They end every one of their podcasts with, they pick somebody they talked about who's like, who's totally never killed anybody? This guy. But you know who probably has killed somebody? Alex Jones. All right. Last but not least, let's talk about some fun stuff, because we haven't talked about fun stuff in a while. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Since the last time we did a podcast, we had San Diego Comic-Con. There's been a lot of fucking trailers released. We didn't even talk about that. So let's just boom, boom, boom. First and most importantly, Picard looks goddamn awesome.
Yeah, it does. That new Picard show looks real solid. I forget, did you watch any of Discovery?
I have not.
Yes, it is solid. It is Discovery's a real what's the word? Just even balance, in my opinion, between like the J.J. Abrams stuff and from those newer movies and then the classic Star Trek. It's it's a lot more shiny and there's a lot more action, but it's not as much action, and there's still a lot of like diplomacy and all that fun shit. So my
complaint about shows like Discovery and any of those sci-fi shows where they you have a standard canon. Let's say you start with, for me and you, I would say Next Generation is our bread and butter, because that's when we were, we've seen the original series, Star Trek, the original series. We've seen those episodes.
DS9 is my favorite Star Trek. The ones I grew up watching were Voyager and Next Gen.
Right. I loved Voyager. I thought Voyager was a great idea. It made me interested because I was always uncomfortable the ship never worked right.
Yeah.
It always made me uncomfortable that they're flying through the fucking Gamma Quadrant with like a ship at 60% or whatever. It was like, oh, this hurts my OCD.
And that was they carried on some tradition that DS9 set, because DS9 also focused a lot more on like the hardware and the repair of the station they were on, because it was always falling apart. And like it's you get that's when they started using a lot of those cool camera shots where like the camera's inside the console they're working on and they're just reaching down toward the camera and you
Oh yeah.
like vaguely see things that look like wires and shit going around, so it gives you this neat perspective. Voyager did a lot of stuff like that too. It was a lot of fun.
Deep Space Nine was also the first Star Trek episode where they just sat on a station and waited for everybody to come fuck their shit up.
Yep. And then I forget which season they get to Defiant. Once they get to Defiant, they have a few episodes in the season. They're always like they're out going somewhere and doing something, and something goes wrong. But those first couple seasons of DS9 are rough because they don't really figure out their flow of having that kind of serialized drama. But then once they figure it out, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, but meanwhile, back in Ranch, Dale said to Roy that one of the best parts of Star Trek Next Generation, it was even a joke on Big Bang Theory, was, Star Trek original series or Star Trek Next Generation? And the correct answer is original series over generation, but Picard over Kirk.
Yeah.
So that's the riddle. But so we got Jean-Luc Picard coming back. He's Patrick Stewart's 1,000 years old right now.
Yeah, I'm actually I'm gonna look that up right now just because I'm super curious about how old he is.
He's and he hasn't aged a day. So we have a show where he's
79.
79. He's retired from Star Trek.
Starfleet.
Sorry.
Come on now.
He was fired from the show. Whatever.
He retired from the show.
He retired from the show. Yeah, he retired from Starfleet. He's out there living his best life, but he feels like there's something missing, so he gets back into the game, and he gets a new ship with a younger crew, and they basically like look to him to be the Picard that they've read about for decades. And
I think it's important to remember here, though, that in this new show, he is not in Starfleet.
No, he is.
No, it's like he's basically got a ship with somebody, and there's a whole big mystery, something with the Borg, of course, and then there's a little girl, and some friends and I have various nerd theories about that, and the popular one is that little girl is the daughter of the Borg Queen from First Contact and him when he was assimilated.
Oh,
because they would have his DNA. They could do that. I don't, that could be it. You never know. It could be a bunch of shit, but you got what's it like B12 or B whatever, the other data from Nemesis that was less complicated or less advanced. He's in there. Yeah, it looks great. 7 of 9. Yeah, it'll be.
Well, they're bringing back Data. They're bringing back 7 of 9.
Well, if it may not be Data because did you see Nemesis? Do you remember that one? Because that was the one where Data died and then his consciousness got uploaded into like a less advanced, like early version of his body, so it's not as functional. So I'm kind of hoping we get a like somewhat brain damage Data, maybe. I don't know. It'll be weird.
Well, but like also like you would have to assume that they can like fix Data in the current
this would be, I don't know, 20 or 30 years later. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. So that coming. We got 7 of 9 coming. That's my girl. She's my girl. She looked great in that. She looked good in that little spandex suit there. Commander Riker's coming back. You got Diana Troy returning. They're apparently still married. Like, I can't say enough about how fucking awesome that looks.
Yeah,
it looks so great.
Yeah. And I like the idea because Stewart has said in the past he wouldn't do another Star Trek if it was just more next gen. He's like, I've already done that, so he only wanted to do something if it was different. So I'm interested to see what they've done with it. It's not till next year though, right? Yeah, it's 2020.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out till 2020. So we got plenty of times for nerd spoilers and nerd blog posts and all that.
I'll probably spend the next few months rewatching all the Star Treks I want to watch.
Oh fuck yeah. I fell off. I fell off after in Voyager after they went through the fluid space and the species 2 was it
8472.
8472 thingy.
That's like season 5 or 6, I think.
Yeah, and they only went 7 seasons, so like I think I missed a lot of season 6, and I got back in season 7. So I would totally fucking love to watch all that shit and all the next gen episodes because they had some good ones. Speaking of space stuff, we got The Expanse coming back for season 4, and recently they've already announced season 5, but for season 4 we're gonna get our Death Slugs.
I actually haven't watched the trailer for that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't. I forgot all about. I forgot that was the thing. Did it have a release date?
It's like October, December this year.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like it's pretty soon. The Expanse. So this is the book 4 Kibola Burn. This is where they go to one of the new planets they found through the rings, and they turn it on, and so you've got this huge planet-wide, equipment. It's basically a planet-wide machine that turns on. And judging and since you haven't seen the trailer, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised because they do really get the scale right. Like, they turn a key and like the planet starts transforming. Like,
that's cool.
Giant.
I'll watch it after we do this, but that's I need to fucking get those books are like the last the last book is out or it's coming out. I mean, forget.
The last book is out.
Okay, I'm on Babylon's Ashes because I took a break for a few years, obviously.
Yeah.
Let's get to that.
Yeah, so The Expanse, that's book series and a TV show. If you guys listening haven't seen it or read it, watch the show. It's fucking awesome. The books are great. The books are great because there's always a big build up and the cataclysmic thing happens, but it's never what you think it's going to be.
Yeah. Or there's always some little twist on it. And they do that in the show pretty well too.
It'd be like if Optimus Prime defeated Megatron in the first Transformers by sticking a paperclip in the back of his head.
Yeah, zap. Tricks him to stand up into a light socket.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's go. We got all right. So we had the San Diego Comic-Con, and we got like the next 2 years of Marvel movies. We got Black Widow. Black Widow has been already announced, and there was an article I read the other day that everybody was hyping. They're like, Black Widow's going to be more close combat fight scenes. No shit, she doesn't have superpowers.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's good. I don't really care.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be, but that's just kind of one of those origin stories. Whatever. But I expect the next couple years of Marvel movies to be like that because it's going to be a lot of the smaller stories. Like Doctor Strange is going to have another movie come out before we get into another phase. Yeah.
Yeah, so you got Black Widow, the Eternals, WandaVision, which is supposed to be is a show on Disney Plus. You got Loki, which is a show on Disney Plus. You got Hawkeye, which will be a show on Disney Plus. We got a new Blade announced.
That I am excited about. I'm a little bummed because there's no way it's going to be rated R like the older ones. The older Blade movies were.
Right.
Right. But I still, I'm cautiously optimistic because the dude they've got playing Blade is the same guy that played Cottonmouth, I think.
Right.
And,
yes.
And was that the first season of Luke Cage?
Yes.
Yeah, and he's really good, and and he's done some other shit that's really solid. And I just fucking love the Blade character, so I'm excited for it. It's only if that means we can start seeing Blade pop into other movies, and then we're finally getting the Fantastic Four, in Marvel.
So yeah, so. The other half of the shit that's been so you got the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is going to be your buddy rom-com. They had a good, what was it? It wasn't was it Endgame where they had a good little thing going? Civil War. I'm sorry,
yeah.
Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War. They're in the car elbowing each other when fucking Captain America finally gets a kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's apparently gonna be a show on Disney Plus. You got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is, I think, gonna be where they're gonna bring in the actual Mandarin.
Mm-hmm. I would love to have a real Mandarin.
And it would be so easy to just bring in a real Mandarin and be like, yeah, but I thought he's arrested. Yeah. I do a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, it's fine.
There's been a lot of Mandarins.
Yep.
You got Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. You've got What If, which will be a Disney show. That holds some promise I don't think we really fully understand. So for those of you that don't read a lot of comics, Marvel has always had a What If brand where they just throw a bunch of characters in a blender and see what happens.
Yeah.
And shit like, what if the Venom symbiote bonded with Wolverine?
Yeah.
And then they just let that fucking story run wild for one issue. It's like, what if Spider-Man got the Iron Man suit? It's whatever, whatever the hell you want to do. What if the Hulk was Galactus? Or just whatever bullshit. You just smash three things together and call it a day. That'll be fun. As if they just go balls out on it. And Shay has already talked about, yes, we get another Fantastic Four. Shay, do you have any bets on whether this one's going to suck balls?
I mean, it's got nothing to do with any of the ones previously, so I don't imagine why it would.
Let's put it this way: it can't suck more balls.
That's true. There's no way to make it suck more balls.
Yeah.
I really just would love to see a more traditional interpretation of Galactus. That would be so fucking sweet if you brought them in with all this other shit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the reason they made Tony Stark the science center of the Marvel Universe in the first place was because they didn't have the rights to the Fantastic Four, and because in the comics it's Reed Richards. So
exactly.
You know. And that's also part of the reason why the Infinity War saga plays out differently in the Marvel Universe, because a lot of those characters they weren't able to use from the comic. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. You know, it's good timing now that, you know, spoiler, Tony Stark's dead. They need someone else to be they need more like nerd tech people to do it. So, and having Reed Richards and his, I forget, he had a company, right? It was like.
No, well, they were basically like basically set up in Fantastic Four Tower.
That's right.
Much like Tony Stark did with the Avengers Tower, and their funding was like, it wasn't a company. They were kind of like a foundation.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So it was like a non-profit. They ran a non-profit, and for those of you not familiar with the Fantastic Four in too much depth, they, along with Reed Richards is the mirror image of Tony Stark, except he's not an alcoholic, and they form always the core go-to guys. So like where everybody shows up at what was it, fucking Endgame, they show up at Tony Stark's cabin. It's like, hey, we need to go back in time, and later that afternoon Tony Stark solves time travel.
Yeah,
like that's what you do to Reed Richards. You walk in and be like, hey, Reed Richards, we need to do this extremely complicated science thing today. He's like, hold on, give me 20 minutes.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I got this. I am hoping that a solid Fantastic Four movie will pave the way for a solid Secret Invasion movie, which is one of my favorite fucking Marvel crossover events.
Yeah.
So that's good. That was always fun. That's fun stuff. So we got that. So we got that going. And then the last thing that was announced, and they're going to trickle shit out for a while here. But the last thing that announced that's really hit me in my soft spots is Thor: Love and Thunder. I am so for this because they're going to introduce the character of Jane Foster as the Mighty Thor.
Yep.
I am 1,000% behind.
I always forget, why did that happen in the comics?
So for those, for Shay and those of you that aren't complete nerds, the Thor is the god of thunder. He wields hammer Mjolnir. I gotta get the saying right. They changed it. And Thor is only allowed to wield that hammer while he is worthy to wield that hammer.
Yeah, I just don't remember what happened to make him not worthy. I mean, in the movies, it's obviously he's a drunk now.
The bigger thing is that there was a Marvel comic event called Original Sin, where, long story short, a lot of the big bad guy or big people in the Marvel universe that were like Uatu the Observer.
Yeah.
Somebody blows his face off. And everybody's like, who the fuck killed the Watcher? And so everybody's trying to figure out who killed the Watcher, and it ties into a lot of Thor's background and a lot of the Asgard backstories. But at one point, Thor's like raging at Nick Cage, and Nick Cage leans in and whispers something to him, and the hammer just hits the ground. Like, Thor is immediately not worthy. So with one whisper from Nick Cage, Thor deemed himself not worthy. And so the hammer immediately left his hand. He couldn't pick it up.
Nick Cage?
Yep. Fury. Nick Fury.
There you go. I was like, he'll get there. He'll get there.
Yeah. No, Nick Fury. Nick Fury leaned in, told a very pissed off Thor, whispered something to a very pissed off Thor, immediately dropped Mjolnir, couldn't pick it up. Well, kept going back to the moon, dropped it on the moon, kept going back to the moon trying to pick it up, couldn't pick it up. So then he goes on his merry way, and he has his own adventures, gets his arm chopped off by some ice giants. Like, he has his own good story. But somebody brings Jane Foster, Thor's girlfriend from the first movie, and brings her up to the moon. She picks up Mjolnir, and becomes a female version of Thor dubbed the Mighty Thor. And she has a 14 comic run and just fucking kicks ass. It's such a great run. She has cancer the entire time. Like, she's fighting breast cancer. And being Thor actually is killing her because every time she picks up the hammer and becomes Thor, the power of Thor forces all the toxins out of her body, which, basically resets her chemo.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
So every time she becomes Thor to save the day, she's like killing herself. She eventually gives the hammer back to Thor, and right now her comic run. I haven't read this comic yet, but she's been made one of the Valkyrie.
Oh, word.
One of the Vanguard of Asgard. So like her run as the Mighty Thor was just phenomenal from the word go. And the reason I was so into it is because it was originally said that Angela from the Spawn comics was the one who would pick up the hammer.
Yeah.
For those of you who are again aren't huge nerds, Angela is an angel and a Spawn hunter from the Spawn comics. Todd McFarlane lost the rights to her back in like the 2000s because the guy that helped create him sued. So like Angela's not going to show up in Spawn anymore, and that's why actually Neil Gaiman helped create that character with Spawn or with Todd McFarlane. So that's why she shows up in the Marvel universe now. So originally she was supposed to be the one with the hammer, and I was like super into that because I'm in anything Spawn, but turned out it's Jane Foster, but it was still a great run. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I honestly I've not read a ton of Thor comics. I've read a lot about the history of the character, but like I just haven't fucking bothered. Like I got other shit to yeah.
Thor's a fun character to get into. He's one of my staples that I follow. Thor's fun because he is one of the heavy hitters of the Marvel Universe, and he will show up like in Infinity War. He'll show up and take stand in front of a star to get his new axe his new axe forge, and he will take the body blows, and he will show up and save the day. But whenever he's not there saving the day, he's just fucking shit up left and right. Like, he cannot keep his shit. Like, he's drunk, breaking stuff. He's always fucking shit up.
Yep.
He's a mess. All right, so we got Thor. I'm super excited about that. Did you ever watch Snowpiercer?
No.
You should watch that. It's fun. They're gonna do a show.
Oh, really? Why? Does it need a show?
I think the show is gonna be. So the movie was done. So the premise of Snowpiercer is like we fucked up the environment and we tried to cool it down. We tried to reverse global warming, created a planet-wide ice age, and so because this makes sense, all the surviving humans are on a large train that just circumvents the globe over and over again. Because this is kind of like what was it, Mortal Engines? Yeah. Let's take all the resources we can, build real big cities that walk around, whatever.
In that same vein, there is a movie on Netflix that they just put it on there, and it's called it's one of the first really big budget Chinese science fiction movies. It's called The Wandering Earth, and I gotta watch.
I think I know. Yeah.
And it's literally the idea: the sun dies, so the world governments come together and build giant like city-sized thrusters on the surface of the Earth to move the Earth to another solar system. And the concept of that is so amazing. I can't wait. I need to watch it.
I want them to have a good scene where they're like all in a boardroom going, we're gonna do what?
Yeah, what? I mean,
you're like, wait a minute. I checked out. I was on Facebook a minute there. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah, exactly. Who's gonna pay for that? Well, my whole thing too is I want to know how they. I mean, if the sun is died out or you move the Earth away from the sun, everyone's going to freeze to death pretty instantly. So I want to see how they get around that. I'm imagining some sort of giant underground city complexes as we fly the Earth through space. And then, like, all life on the planet would die, too. So you'd have, I don't know. I just want to watch it. It's like, what? It doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be, like, visually really cool.
All right. Well, let's really think about this. If you have the ability to create enough fusion to build thrusters to do that, then you have to be able to keep yourself warm somehow.
Yeah, right? I mean, obviously, if you're on the surface, you're wearing a spacesuit. There's your plot hole spackle there. But I don't know. I'm real interested to see that because I remember it's one of those weird movies that like you see a trailer for on some forum somewhere because someone goes, "Oh, this looks weird," and then like 6 months later, it's on Netflix because that's what they do.
Oh yeah.
Because now that they're going to lose a lot of shit when Disney Plus launches, which I will probably shamelessly sign up for, because it's going to have all the Simpsons on it. They're snapping up all these weird foreign movies that I probably would never normally see, so I'm all about it.
Yeah. Oh no, it looks really fun. Speaking of ooh, hold on, shit. Something just came across. We'll talk about that in a second. But speaking of plot hole spackle and weird things that we got to think about.
We also saw Spider-Man while we were at the beach too, and that was the shit.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Spider-Man Far From Home was very good. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, very good. It's fun. I was talking to Corey the other day, and I told him, because his son Cole is super into Spider-Man, because from the first one, because I think his first introduction to Spider-Man was Spider-Man, the one with Michael Keaton. What the hell was that called?
Michael Keaton. That was Homecoming, where he's the Vulture.
Yeah,
it's Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah. Apparently his son saw that and was like his first like real big introduction to Spider-Man. I was like, oh, okay,
that's a good one.
Yeah, it was a good way to get into it. What was I gonna say? Oh no, so you've seen Endgame, right? Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things I was just thinking about, like, Shower thought the other day was like, one of the main thrusts of Endgame is that Tony Stark does not want to give up his daughter. So Tony Stark wants everything to go back the way it was, but nothing to change for the people who were here.
Yeah.
Like he wants the best of both worlds. Okay, that's fine and dandy, but remember when you snap everybody back into reality, half of the planet comes back.
Yeah.
A lot of those people were in moving cars.
And planes and trains
and in planes and in trains. Yes. So because of conservation of momentum, you're gonna be standing at the corner of 53rd and 22nd in New York, and you're gonna see this woman, pop out of nowhere going about 45 miles an hour.
And just skip across the road or into the
back.
back.
Just get right in the back of a delivery van or something, or somebody on the interstate doing a good 89 miles an hour, just be like shot out of a fucking cannon.
What about all the people that are like doing cross country or international trips and they just drop from 40,000 feet into the ocean?
Yeah, plop.
Oh man, I like every time I see that movie or someone talks about it, someone always mentions that, and that's always the thing where you have to assume like, all right, well, because of magic, they're all fine.
Yeah, and you know what you have to do in that movie? Like a key grip, the makeup artist, somebody has to be like sitting there on the side of the film and be like, you guys have to have Tony Stark say, and I'll make sure nobody falls from out of planes and stuff.
Yeah,
that's all you had to do. One line. But yeah. So, what else was I going to talk about? Snowpiercer. Speaking of animated stuff, they're going to do a Red Sun animated movie.
I had read that. I've heard Hush is really good too. Batman Hush.
I saw like the first 20 minutes of it. It's amazing. Basically, what's going on, everybody who is into the Marvel and DC cinematic universes, DC's animated film house is kicking the shit out of it. They're basically doing what the DC film, was it DCU?
Yeah.
DCU should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Basically, they're just stomping it. So you had Death of Superman. You had the Reign of Superman. Return of Superman. All these animated movies are just amazing. Superman Red Sun is an alternate world where Superman's pod landed in the USSR and not America, so he grows up being a champion for communism.
Yep,
it's pretty cool. No, they're all so good. Other little tidbit here: Edward Furlong is going to be in Terminator: Dark Fate. Have you seen that?
No, Edward Furlong,
the guy who originally played John Connor.
Oh yeah, okay. As John Connor.
Yep.
Ha! That's awesome. When is that out?
It's due out later this year.
Yeah, I know it's this year. That's got to be.
It's like December.
November 1st. Okay.
Yeah, when the movie was first announced, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger is going to play the T-100. Linda Carter is going to play Sarah Connor. I'm sorry. And everybody was like a buzz, like, oh, is Edward Furlong coming back? And everybody's like, nah, he's done too much heroin.
Yeah.
He has had a rough road to hoe for a while there. But apparently he got clean. They're going to put him in the movie because they were originally talking about putting him in the movie as himself, but with CGI.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So, that's got to suck. Like, you're alive, you're the right age,
Yeah.
but you're not in the movie.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's cool. He's going to be in it.
Yeah, so he's gonna be.
Well,
in
I mean,
it,
he
and-
is in it. I assume it's already filmed. So.
Oh yeah. And the last thing that I saw just like today before we hopped on, Kevin Conroy, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Kevin Conroy. Everybody should know him as the voice of Batman from the Batman animated series,
Yep.
the absolute
I've said that.
tits of animation.
Yeah, that's like, if you grew up in the '90s, that's like the quintessential Batman. I've always said this once, and I'll say it again. If I ever come into a large amount of money, I'm going to pay him to dub over every incarnation of Batman just for me.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and no one, it'll be the one. So you're gonna have copies of like The Dark Knight where it's fucking Kevin Conroy and dubbed over Christian Bale the whole way. And I'll make sure the effects line up and it sounds and looks good. Okay, it'll be amazing.
They asked him about that. Did you hear a statement on that?
No.
Like, they asked him about Christian Bale's Batman voice, and he was like, "Yeah, that was a bit much."
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, I loved his. Yeah, I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
that was
that's
also
why. Yeah,
Batman the Animated Series was just. If you go back and look at it, it was way more adult than it should have been.
oh yeah, absolutely.
It was way more adult than it should have been, and its dark animation style was like nothing else out there.
You know,
Like,
it was animated on black construction paper. Actually, That's one of the reasons.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. Because if you looked at the lineup, it was like the Animaniacs and some other dumb show, Batman the Animated Series, and Batman the Animated Series had this very dark, cryptic look. Even when it was like you were in, Bruce Wayne's boardroom and it was supposed to be light and sunny, like even outside shots in the daytime had this weird, dark, grainy quality to them. It's because they were animated on black paper to get like it's like painting from a negative almost. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
No, it was good.
Yeah, yeah.
I
it's really
love that show. I mean, that's also as far as like Jokers go too. Like, and Mark Hamill's Joker is what's up too.
weird. I don't think I'll ever forget the time that somebody explained to me that the Joker in Batman the Animated Series was Luke Skywalker. I
Right.
was like,
Yeah.
what?
You're like, what?
And
dude?
then you watch him do the lines, and you're like, "Holy shit! This guy is not only like, my space pirate, space knight hero. He's like one of the most talented voice actors out in the business right now." Yeah. So Kevin Conroy is going to join the CW's Crisis on Infinite Earths, which will air later this year. It's like December into January. It's like right at the first of the year.
Yeah.
It's going to be, of course, it's between Supergirl, Supergirl, Flash, Arrow, and Legends of Tomorrow, and he will play a Bruce Wayne.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. The only problem is he is a thin motherfucker.
Who? Kevin Conroy?
Yeah. Kevin Conroy he probably looks like me, but weighs 110 pounds.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know. He is very thin. He does not strike you as, Batfleck.
Yeah, he is definitely a thin guy. That's fine
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah. Everybody's like, how could you like Batfleck? It was like, he looked like he could put the fucking hurt on something.
They really need to give me a live action Batman Beyond.
Oh, we'll get there. We'll get there. I mean, how old is oh shit, what's his name? Beetlejuice. We said it earlier. The original Batman.
Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton is currently on the other side of my browser. Hold on, let me scroll over here. He's currently 67. I mean, we got like another 20 years.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be Michael Keaton. It could be anybody, but
No, it has.
no, it
to be Michael
doesn't.
Keaton.
That doesn't make any
That's fine.
sense because none of those. That doesn't make sense. That's doesn't have to be Michael. Could be whoever. Put just someone badass
Yeah.
can play old Batman because what matters is who's Terry McGinnis. Someone kick ass. It'll be sweet. It'll be fun.
Okay, one last thing just popped up, Shay. It just popped up. I just saw this. As of 24 minutes ago, the U.S. company that hosts the 8chan
Yeah.
board will no longer keep the platform running.
I mean, I want that. Let's see. Let's see.
Cloudflare.
Yeah, Cloudflare. That's pretty funny. I mean, that's cool. I mean, I like that, but it's just going to be, it'll just pop up somewhere else. That's not how this works.
It'll be 16 channel.
Yeah, it'll be some other channel just like right away. Like doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what else is it's gonna really fuck up is all the QAnon stuff comes off of 8chan.
Oh, that makes me happy. That's great.
Yeah, all the QAnon stuff was on 4chan and was booted from 4chan for being stupid, and it ended up on 8chan. So all the QAnon shit, like there's probably gonna be a Q. Like this was 24 minutes ago. My phone's right here. I have an app on my phone that collects Q drops for me. I guarantee I'm sane.
Uh-huh. You keep telling yourself that, buddy.
I'm going to drink myself to sanity. That's how that works. Yeah, it doesn't have anything yet, but they're going to shut down QAnon, which would be the funniest fucking thing ever, so. That's fun. All right, well, I don't think we have anything else to talk about. You got anything else, Shay?
No, not really. I'll just that. Well, I mean, it's I talked to you about this before the show we started recording, but The Boys is pretty solid. That new Amazon, it's a real fun take on the superhero genre. It's very dark and very bloody, so it's pretty fun so far. I've only watched first episode, but it was one of those things that I was like, all right, cool, whatever, another superhero thing, I'll watch it. And then like halfway through, I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is really good. I'm like, stop doing what I'm doing to watch the show. Yeah.
Well, what's recording right now downstairs for me is Preacher.
I have not watched any of that. I've read the comics multiple times, but I've never seen the show.
It's almost as batshit crazy as the comics. And if any show that premieres on basic cable, I don't know if AMC basic cable, I don't know, that has the quote and is read out and is said out loud, "Preacher shot my dick off."
Yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah.
So that started tonight, and I've been kind of like, it's a 2-hour premiere. I was like, I don't really want to watch both hours. I don't know. Yeah. But now I think you've sold me on watching at least an hour of Preacher and then watching
watch the first episode of The Boys. Yeah, you'll see. It's very solid. It's solid. You'll like it.
All right, Shay. So this is the Woodcast. We love doing this. We have a good time. I get to talk to my little brother. My little brother gets to talk to me, which I know he enjoys. Meh. Yeah. You should be able to find this podcast everywhere you find your podcasts. It's on the iTunes, the Google Plays. Actually, we're gonna have to move that. Isn't iTunes fucking? It's like changing their whole platform.
I have no idea.
Yeah, like they're getting rid of iTunes. They're gonna do like iPod and like they're gonna separate music and podcasts.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So eventually I'm gonna have to throw this RSS feed somewhere else, but that's none of your concern. But you should be able to find us on your SoundCloud, your Google Play, your iTunes. You should be able to find us anywhere you find your podcasts. I will say it's kind of funny when I like update my podcast thing on my phone, Shay, and it like tells me I have like 4 new Woodscasts to listen to. I was like, no, I've never heard that.
Yep.
As Rachel likes to say, I live with that podcast.
Yeah, I don't have to listen to it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, well, this could be one of those things where we say, well, we'll try to do it more often and more frequently. That's not going to happen. Well, you'll get it when you get it. And you'll fucking like it. All right?
Actually, you will like it. Yeah, we're probably going to have to take at least the next 2 weeks
You'll
off
get it when you get it. I don't care if you fucking like it.
Yeah. Well, we're probably going to have to take the next 2 weeks off because I'm traveling and Shay's schedule doesn't allow us to do it except on the weekends usually. So, and my schedule's also not good for like weekdays, but we'll see. But yeah, find us where you find your podcast. You can hit us up on Twitter at Woodscast1776 and on Facebook at Woodscast1776 because fuck Alex Jones and all of his shtick. When his shit is shut down, we will keep that number in his dishonor. And then, of course, if you have a question, comment, or have something you think Shay and I should bluster about, shoot us an email at thewoodscast1776 at gmail.com. This is the part of the podcast where I say, Shay, you should say goodbye to the nice people.
Bye.
Oh, you fucked it up. Anyway, Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
A rubber band man, just moving, just moving, just moving, just moving, just